Hello. I'm Maris. This is GamerQuest. Welcome. Howdy, Dark. How you doing? So tonight we've got some fun stuff going on. Hi, Blue. We've got Aiden with us, which I'm going to get him on Skype in uno momento. He's a developer for the game Lost Sea, and we are going to take a look at Lost Sea. We're going to have a nice little chat with Aiden, and we're going to give away a couple copies of Lost Sea. Thanks to Aiden, so thank you, Aiden. So let me get him over on Skype, and let's get this party started, because I really think you're going to like this game. I played it a little bit earlier today for a while, because I wanted to make sure, that I went through the tutorial and that, I got everything and all that, and I was like, I need to play. I've been waiting to play it for the rest of the day, so, I need to get into it. It's one of those things where it's like I'm gonna go to sleep fiending I need to play. And let's get him over. There we go. Like how the music tones down now? Good job, X. Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
How are you doing?
Yeah, good, thanks.
Welcome back. So, let's see here. Now,
that we looked into, and to be honest, it's not something that we've had a lot of people contacting us personally asking about.
Okay. So that's not now. If there came a time where people were actually interested in adding their own almost skins to the game, instead of it being set in the Bermuda Triangle, maybe a graveyard or stuff like that. Would that be something that you guys would consider down the road?
I don't think it would be possible, just because, for instance, with a game like Skyrim where the content is all scripted, it's a bit easier. But because we have procedural generation, if we were to let say there was a tree model, the trees are loaded in when the island's generated, right? Mm-hmm. So if, for instance, they made a tree model that didn't work correctly or cause problems, then theoretically it could just break everything.
Gotcha. So just so people can see, I am not doing the tutorial island for this. So this is a roguelike. When you die, you lose everything. So gotta pay attention. Also, I love the art in this game.
Oh, thanks.
I really do. What made you pick going with this style as opposed to, say, just strictly 3D computer rendered?
Yeah, so there was a couple of reasons. First and foremost, it was just something that we personally all really liked. So even at the very beginning of the project, we decided that we wanted to make a sort of bright and colourful, cartoony style game, and that's really just as a reaction to the fact that we didn't feel that there was enough out there. It's something that we really like, sort of Banjo-Kazooie and Crash Bandicoot, that kind of art style. So that was one reason. And then the second reason is, as a small team, we had to sort of be aware of what our constraints were. Mm-hmm. So we can't really do sort of Call of Duty level quality assets, because if that was the case, we'd only end up with one character model. We'd spend so much time just making content that we decided we'd rather have more.
Every single little thing in here. So I appreciate this much better than other style graphics.
Yeah, and the other thing as well is there was a lot of iteration that had to go on to land on the art style that we eventually did. For instance, the black outline shader, we experimented with that a couple of times, and it took quite a while to get it right.
Mm-hmm. I mean, everything is so clean. God, I really like the artwork. It's so cool.
If people are interested in learning a bit more about the art style, I did a blog post up on the official Lost Sea website that goes into a bit more detail about how we landed on that style, because, like you say, it's something that really draws people to the game, and every time we've showed it publicly, we get people wandering over just to check the game out based solely on how it looks. And it's also been quite nice as well, because I think that the art style opens it up to a broader audience. We've had a real big range of people coming over, from people who like really hardcore survival games like Don't Starve to, parents with their kids who are like, oh man, that's interesting, what's that?
I mean, I would hope that my appreciation for art styles like this is also, the general gaming population can get behind too, because it really is actually very flashy for as simple as it is. And it's not really, I shouldn't say simple, but it's nothing crazy. Like, we're not looking at epic million pixel 3D freaking machine guns and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It looks good. It's catchy. It's like happy in a way. Even though you're killing stuff, it's like, hey, look, it's colorful though. I'm happy. Let's kill stuff with a smile on my face.
Yeah, I think maybe sometimes the art style can lure people into a false sense of security, and they don't.
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely. It's very arresting. And it's like, now, it said there's millions of options for islands. So, there's really millions of options for islands?
Well, the way that it's built is that the islands are made out of a series of prefabricated rooms, like 3 years old. I just have this really strong memory of my mum picking up her NES for us when we were like little kids, and then just playing like the original Super Mario Brothers and DuckTales and things like that.
Oh, DuckTales was a good game.
DuckTales was a good game.
That Scrooge McDuck thing at the end.
I played that game so much. Like, I think it got to a stage where I would just basically come home from school, and like, it wasn't super difficult, but for a small kid, it's still quite challenging and engaging. So just completed that game so many times.
Now, what was the first game you actually remember playing?
It would probably be Super Mario Brothers, I think.
Okay.
Just in terms of like my first game-related memory. I don't know if you remember, there's a bit in Super Mario Brothers where there's like a series of blocks, and they have like a 1 block gap between them.
That's 8.1, World 8.1.
Good memory.
I've been playing, December was my 30-year anniversary of playing video games.
Oh wow, cool. I remember trying to jump on each one of those blocks individually, and then there was like a kid next door to us, and he was like, oh, you don't need to do that, watch this. Just like held down B and like ran across the whole lot. We were like, what?
Yeah, there's many tricks. Many tricks.
Yeah. I need to go back and play that game.
That is a good game. I'm actually planning on doing a retro month in August, because we got the Elgato HD60 capture card. We did a donation drive, and one of our viewers got it for us. So we're going to be doing that around August, I believe, since I'll be turning another year older. I'll be spent with playing some old school games.
Did you pick up Mario Maker?
No, I actually don't have a Wii U. It's crazy. Like, I grew up on mostly console with. No, don't stand there. Oh, you son of a. All right. Oh, come on, man. Run away. I thought you were supposed to be tough.
He's not dead, so I guess he's a little bit tough.
I guess so. But, like, tough, I would think, like, manly man. Like, put up against the ogre or whatever the heck that thing is.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? If you get killed, dude, I don't care. How about them apples?
You're on your own.
Yeah. I'll kill stuff myself.
Yeah. In the harder islands, you sometimes when a guy gets split off from the pack, and it's just really hectic, you're just like, you're on your own. Sorry, I gotta go.
Yeah, it's like, peace out, dude. That's like somebody that wants to run out in like the zombie apocalypse and like say hi to the zombies. It's like, dude, you're on your own, man. You have fun with that. I am going over here. Let's see here. Where am I? This is... I mean, I really... The game feels good, too. It's not choppy. Everything's smooth. It's well done. All the transitions are nice.
Oh.
It's like, you know, there was work put into it. How long did it take you to actually develop the game?
Yeah, it took around 2.5 years of development. But one thing that that was very important to us was to have it running at 60 frames a second. That's something that we put a lot of work into.
Nice. Man, it is smooth, man. Now, how did you personally get started in developing games?
So a little bit similar to yourself, I started off on console, and then when I got older, I sort of transitioned into PC. So when I was around like 14, I started getting really into online shooters, like sort of high-level competitive shooters like Dare Defeat and Tribes 2. So I was sort of, but
I want to do it. I know I want to do it.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, literally the next day, I just started Googling around, see what my options were. And I don't know if you know Edge magazine.
I've heard of it.
Yeah, so it's like a UK like multi-platform magazine, and they had a supplement in there called Get Into Games, which like just coincidentally came out like a few days after I was like, yeah, this is what I want to do. And I'd saved up a bit of money, and I saw that there was this 1-year master's course in game development, and I was like, okay, I'm going to go to this course, and I'm not too worried about the actual paperwork, the degree that I get at the end of it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to spend that year as like a sort of year to not have to worry about work and just focus on getting into games. So, doing like a lot of networking and working on my own prototypes and things like that. And that's really how I got my start in development.
Wow. Now, if you weren't a game developer, do you think you would have stuck with that previous job, or do you think you would have tried to move on to something different?
I think if I wasn't a game developer, I would have ended up doing like sysadmin somewhere, because my background was just in like networking and, system administration and stuff like that. So I probably would have just ended up at some company somewhere being like the
IT monkey?
Yeah, exactly. Like the IT crowd sort of guy, just in a basement somewhere.
Well, so. No, they're usually on one of the main floors. At least previous in my corporate tenures, they've been on the main floors. Not in England. They everywhere I've worked with IT guys, they keep them down in the basement. Do they really? That's terrible. We don't have like subterranean, but normally like all of the create something and see it in the world, and it's like, oh, this didn't exist before we started working on it. And then, especially with this game as well, because we've got the limited run physical release. Yeah, I saw that. I haven't worked on a box product since like 2000 and... No, when Brink shipped, that was a box product. But since I moved to Hong Kong, I haven't worked on a box product. And there's something really nice about seeing it in the world in a physical sort of release. But on top of that, I think it's just really nice to create things that people enjoy, Real quick, thank you to that follower. I didn't catch the name, but thank you very much. Welcome, adventurer. Sorry for interrupting you. That's all right. Now, have you worked on other games besides Lost Sea, or is this your first venture, or did you guys get together and like work on something small just to like test the water with everyone, see if everybody's going to kind of get along and, you know, get the feel for each other? Or did you just say, hey, here's what we're doing, get to work?
So East Asia Soft, the games that they released prior to that were with another studio based in Germany. But this is the first title developed by the internal studio at East Asia Soft. And although it was the first title internally. Yeah.
So, you know, it was not... It's just weird. Like, not every game you would think I'd like a card game, because I like games like Magic, but I just couldn't get into it. Yeah. Have you had the chance to try Netrunner? No, I have not. So, but I mean, it's just... I like the concept. Like, Magic, to me, I'll always play Magic. Yeah. Like, if it's Magic, I'm always going to try. I don't care what the rules are, anything like that. Like, you change the rules, no problem. Sit me down, let's do it. Cool. I will always play Magic. It's just other games. Maybe I'm just an elitist. No, I think you're right. Like, I think when you find something that you're really into, you know, other games can come and go, but you're like, no, this is the one that I really like. Yeah, it's like the structure of it. It's just something like, it's enjoyable, like it's got a good flow, it works. Yeah, exactly. And it's never slow. And anytime they even change the rules or change how to play, it's never slows the game down, never takes anything away from it. So it's just I guess, you know, an elitist, I don't want to say, really keep saying elitist preference, but it's just something I really enjoy. Like, that is what I like. And I've tried a lot of card games, and Magic is still really the only one that I will 100% always play. Oh, cool. Begun to discount a lot of environments, right? It's like space station, probably not. Like city, probably not. So we knew we wanted to have like a sort of lush, organic environment, which is, you know, you can get a lot of like purple plants and, you know, like red frogs and things like this. Right. So that was one of the reasons behind it. And then the more we started digging, we started to stumble across like old B-movie posters, and they're all just so like bright and colourful. And they've all got such, you know, crazy premises, and it's something very classic that a lot of people really seem to latch onto, because it's like a lot of very classic stories, right? Like just tales of adventure. You know, go stranded on this island, got to escape. You know, it's full of crazy monsters that are trying to kill you. That's a fairly common B-movie trope. Oh yeah, it is. But it's good if it's done right. It's good. Yeah. I'm quite a big proponent of like B movies. I love B movies, especially horror movies. I'm a fan of horror. So B movies are good. They don't make movies like they used to, man. I think there's like a tier of movies that are like modern B movies, if that makes sense. Yeah. Some of the sort of lower budget stuff, like I don't know if you remember, like Ninja Assassin or stuff like that. I sort of class them as modern B movies, like Reign of Fire and things like that. They are. They really are. But I'm not having ideas anymore. What is it? And I realised it was because when I started having a phone with like Twitter and you know, all of this stuff in my pocket, what I was doing was I was spending all of my commute times like just doing email and checking up on Twitter and stuff like that. Instead of enjoying and taking stuff in. Yeah. So I actually just went through a phase where I just banned myself from using my phone when I was going anywhere or doing anything. So I sort of like forced myself to maybe be a bit more aware of my surroundings, I guess, or maybe just allow my mind to wander. Become a little more engaged in things. Yeah, and just like sort of allow myself to daydream a bit more. And it sounds so crazy, but it's a great idea. It really is.
it's something that I just found worked for me because anytime now I'm sort of stuck for inspiration, I'll just like you know put my phone away or camping. Camping's a really good one as well.
Mm.
Like just sometimes when you go camping here, because of all the mountains, you can't even get like phone signal. So if we all go like camping or whatever.
That's a good thing to do though. Like you'd be amazed how many people won't take a step back if they're having issues, which is really the worst thing to do.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sort of guilty of it as well. Like I haven't, especially since we've been so busy with like the last stages of the game. Just like Twitter's constantly going off, or like emails, and a lot of people playing the game on Twitch and YouTube and stuff. So I'm trying to check out the stream.
Yeah, it can be busy. I'm in the middle of checking stuff up because I do marketing for Under Earth, and we released it towards the end of June. So I've been handling all the broadcasters and all that stuff. So I hear you on that one. Now, how would you say the game's being received so far? Have you gotten mostly positive reviews? Have some people been critical of certain features or items in the game?
Yeah, I'd say it's been mostly positive. It's always the same, right? There's always a spectrum of. Sometimes it's just not people's game. Sometimes it really clicks with people. The one bit of feedback that we've got.
How long did it take you guys to actually make the game?
I'd say it was about 2.5 years of actual development. And then, there was like a couple of months prior to that where, like I say, it was just sort of me trying to crank out ideas, and we were trying to find an office for the studio and, getting everything set up.
Gotcha. So now you have 4 people on your team. Did you guys bring in any freelance workers to help with like extra assets or anything like that, or it was just you 4 from start to finish?
No, we had 4 outsourcers who helped us out on various things. So we had one for sound effects, one for music, and then 2 guys helping us out with some of the art stuff. So one guy did all of the 2D stuff, so for instance like the HUD that you see on screen at the moment, and another guy who helped us out with some of the larger landmark rooms. So if you ever see anything like a giant dinosaur skeleton or like a crashed plane, things like that, he helped us out with that.
What are some examples of things that actually went right during your tenure of development? Like, had an idea and it was like, all right, well, maybe this will work. And then, you put it in, it's like, yes, that is perfect.
Things don't normally tend to go in and be perfect.
Well, no, I know, but, one of those almost perfect. It's like, ooh, yeah.
I think it's like the thing with games is it's just so iterative. But one of the things that I think went really well was the rooms are like modular. So we'd start with an empty hexagonal room, and then our artist would just crank out lots of different pieces, like lots.
Yeah, isn't this a beautiful game, Optimal? And let me see here. What time is it? It is 10:30. How about we do this? For everybody that's watching, this is Aiden. He is a developer, one of the developers for this awesome game, and this really is a beautiful game. I'm kind of hooked on it, so, But we're also going to give away a couple copies. Aiden was nice enough to give us a few copies of the game to give away. So what I'm going to do is I am going to do a giveaway on both Beam and Twitch at the same time. So it's going to be 1 gold a piece. It's going to be an auction on ScottyBot for Beam, and a raffle will be set up as a raffle for Deepbot on Twitch for the Twitch viewers. So let me just get Scotty open here. And And so while I do this, so what have you guys found that's gone wrong during development?
Yeah, like I say, things just very rarely go in first time and just work. So it's always a process, and that's why it's really important to go to shows like Penny Arcade and go to PlayStation Experience and get the game into as many people's hands as possible and just get as much feedback as possible. Because when the game goes into the wild, people are going to find things or have sort of feedback that you never could have anticipated. So I guess a good example is, as I mentioned earlier, about the save system. It was something that, we talked about, and we were actually going to start doing it, and we were like, well, no, it's not really that kind of game. The real challenge of shipping a lot of games when you work in those sort of places.
That's a lot of games.
Is quite a lot of games.
That's Now, so where do you think the game industry is going to be in the next 10 to 15 years?
I don't know. Like, I don't think anyone ever really knows. Like, I don't think anyone could have predicted stuff like Twitch taking off the way that it has. I think that's what's really exciting about working in games, is there's always something new, and you always have to be open to new things, and you always have to adapt to the way that the market's going. Obviously, a lot of people are making big bets on VR.
Yes.
I'm not sure if it's going to have the sort of widespread appeal in the next sort of 5 or 10 years or so that some people might think that it will have. Like, I personally don't think that in 5 years the vast majority of gamers on PC or console are going to be after VR experiences, but I think there's definitely going to be quite a large segment of those people.
I'm excited for the VR. To tell you the truth, I was sent to Indiecade this year, Indiecade East, in New York, and I got to check out a Vive. I played a horror demo on the Vive, and I'll tell you what, being able to walk around and everything, at least for the horror experience, that was pretty awesome.
It really lends it. Dude was sat in a park with a Gear VR on, and I was like, but you're already in a park, what? And then I saw a guy on the train, just sat there on the train with a VR headset on, so that's pretty crazy.
I can see if they're playing that mobile Pokemon game. Did you see that one where it's on the phone and it'll alert you when you run into people that are also quote unquote Pokemon trainers, and you can battle them with your phone and stuff?
Yeah, I think that's gonna sell couple of million units for sure.
I'll play it. I'd probably lose miserably, but I mean, it's a cool concept. Although, is it actually going to take off? That's always a good question. Because I mean, how many people are going to be into that?
Yeah, and there's, and again, going back to what you were saying about game industry trends, there's a lot of stuff that just doesn't land. A lot of stuff like Kinect and the PlayStation Move. A lot of people made big bets on that, and now they've just sort of left it by the wayside a bit. They don't bundle it with the console.
I like playing the dancing games with the Kinect. I like stuff like that. I like Dance Dance Revolution. I thought that stuff was fun, but they never really did much with it.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. There are really great experiences on Kinect and Move and stuff. But I just think in terms of mass market, is it there?
I think they could do away with the $300 controller too, because if it was something like the Vive where you've got the hand controls, you could be in the cockpit and just look around and use the controllers on your hands. Oh my god, that would be amazing. I need you to make that. Please.
We should do a Kickstarter.
Hey, I'm all for it. I'll take 10%. That's all I want.
Deal.
Yeah. Yeah, VR would be good. Anybody that is disabled in a sense, VR really would be good for. So what games did you enjoy playing in 2015? Oops.
2015. Man, I can't even remember. So there's always going to be two answers, and one of them is Spelunky, and one of them is Monster Hunter. Because regardless of what else comes out, I'm normally playing those two. But I normally tend to pick up stuff and then play through the sort of single player campaign, and then go back to the games that I play quite regularly. I remember 2015. Was that the new Wolfenstein?
I believe it came out in 2015. It might have been early. I haven't played the newer Wolfensteins. Like,
Yeah.
I dig the classic one.
Yeah.
And some of the older ones, but the newer ones, I don't know. I'm a little weird with certain franchises. Like, Doom 3 was great, but, you know, it's just, it kind of had the Doom feel. Some of it had the Doom feel. Some of the areas just didn't. And I wasn't too, like, thrilled with
into it. But can you imagine how hard that guy had it? It's like, okay, we need you to design the new Doom Marine. Try not to make him look like all the other sort of recent game characters that are inspired by Doom Marine, like Master Chief, like literally everyone in power armor.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I can only imagine the pressure they're under. Like, that's got to be some serious amount of pressure.
Yeah, because people love Doom, right? It's got a really passionate community.
But the other problem is they're going to be ripped apart if there's even one little thing wrong with it.
Yeah.
It's like they're just going to be demolished by anyone and everyone.
Yeah, and then at the same time as well, like, you want to try and bring new people into the franchise, because it's always going to be someone's first Doom, and it's always going to be someone's first Zelda, and it's always, you know, these franchises that have been going for a long time, there's always going to be some kid who's experiencing it for the first time. So how do you make it a good introduction to the franchise for those guys as well?
Right. Now, speaking of Zelda, I have to admit, I do kind of get slight Zelda vibes from Lost Sea. Like,
oh, cool.
Some of the, like, for instance, the items on the D-pad and things like that. Like, it's definitely got a Zelda-esque feel.
Yeah.
Am I correct in that?
It's all handmade content, right? Whereas we've got the procedural generation, which threw a lot of unique challenges that we had to sort of solve in that respect. And then in terms of the Zelda influence, a lot of that is just fairly common video game telegraphing, like ways of telegraphing on-screen action. But because Zelda is the best at it, Zelda is like...
Oh, yeah, it is.
Yeah, it becomes... that becomes like the go-to example everyone thinks of. Like when you slash a sword and you see the trail behind the sword, that, you know, everything does that, from like God of War to, you know, any sort of action game. But Zelda's like the best at doing that. And sort of working on this game, I've been playing sort of quite a bit of Nintendo games just over the last couple of years when I picked up my Wii U. And I missed out on the Wii completely. I just sort of bounced off it.
Oh man, there were some good ones.
Yeah. So I was playing Mario and stuff for the first time in like a long time, and I was like, these games are so well made. Like, there is so much going on behind the scenes.
I have to say, like, there are certain games like that I enjoy on a certain level. I'd have to put this one up there with Oceanhorn.
Oh, cool.
I don't know. Have you ever seen Oceanhorn?
I've seen it. I've not played it. Was it mobile only, or did they do a PC
They
version?
did. I actually was given a key by them to review the PC version. It's about 10 hours long. I actually did a playthrough of it. It was very...
Xbox 360. And, the controls are so counterintuitive. You forget at the time because it was all so new. But if you want to shoot in first person, you have to hold, no joke, like 4 different buttons down. It's like pull up the gun, hold the button for first person aim, like hold square to pull your gun out, then release square to shoot.
Yeah, it's like they did that with like Witcher 3, and I'm like, I can't do this. I'm like, I just need keyboard and mouse.
I had no idea. Because I know people said that Witcher 2 had some very difficult controls, and I was under the impression that for Witcher 3 they'd sort of overhauled the combat system.
Not if you use a controller, that's for
Oh.
sure. But
Oh, no.
like the Witcher 1 and Witcher 2, I only used keyboard and mouse. So I figured, well, I mean, I'm thinking to myself, oh, well, it's for the consoles. Let me try a controller. And thanks for playing. I was like, oh, hell no. You would have to have, like, hands the size of Andre the Giant to, like, yoga your fingers into the positions they wanted to do things.
Yeah, and it's just, again, it's a case of when you're working on something, you're so close to it that you just get used to it and you just adapt. And then when you take it out to the public, you're like, oh, I had no idea that you guys mind.
Like, you can't use those controls? What do you mean that's too hard?
Yeah.
What do you mean you can't hold all 4 trigger buttons,
Yeah, and
both
it's just
the
because, like,
analog sticks, and press AB simultaneously?
Yeah, and it's just because like you're playing the game 8 hours a day, and even if you're like an artist who just wants to test a combat animation, or a programmer who... I played a little bit of stuff online before, but it was all very simple, like arena-based shooters.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got Tribes 2, and I put it in. And the first game I loaded up, I sort of spawned up on this hillside, and there was this bomber flying across the sky, being chased by like 2 fighters, and they were shooting it down. And and it was like, obviously the guy piloting it had pretty bad lag because it was like jerking across the sky.
Oh no.
And at the same time there was a dude on a hover bike just blasting through the desert on the hill, like down below me, and there was just like loads of guys flying through the sky, and I was just like, these are all real people? This is insane. Like, I hadn't, it was sort of open world. There were vehicles. I guess in a way it was almost like a bit of a precursor to what Battlefield is now. But just the idea that those were all real humans doing that, I was just like blown away.
Yeah, that is crazy, isn't it? It's I remember that kind of thing. It's like, oh my god, it's like that's someone else. That's a real person.
Yeah. And I think it's like, I think a lot of people take it for granted now, because if you want to play online, it's so easy. Like, get PlayStation, plug PlayStation in. Congratulations, you're online. But
have internet service.
Yeah, and all of the ridiculous like tech support stuff you had to do just to even be on the internet back then was like, no one in the house could make a phone call at the same time, because if someone...
Or you had to have it
more straightforward than it would have been.
Gotcha.
If we would have had our own engine.
Gotcha. That's a good way of looking at it. Having your own engine is quite a bit of a bigger undertaking.
Yeah, it's worth it if you're a huge studio, or if you're a well-established team that only does one type of game. So say, for instance, like you've got a point-and-click adventure engine, and you're only going to be making point-and-click games for the foreseeable future, then, by all means, that's a good good reason to roll your own engine, because you can specialize it to exactly how you want. But for people like us, where we're not sort of locked into a certain genre, just using like a third-party engine like Unity or Unreal it just makes so much sense.
Now, yeah, I remember the dial-up noise. I've actually, for the longest time, I've wanted to get that as a noise on my cell phone.
Use it as your ringtone.
Yes, that way people would be like, "What is that noise?" The kids wouldn't understand. They'd be like, "What is that?" Do you have another title that you guys are already set to work on, or are you strictly focusing on Lost Sea right now? And then a little bit down the road, you'll go back in and talk about.
We've been so heads down on Lost Sea, like
those keys. There we go. What's up, Sam, over in YouTube? Alright, let me get back over here. Now, do we have, since we're winding down here, do any of the viewers have questions about Lost Sea here? And again, this is roguelike, where if you die, you lose everything, so you need to pay attention. And then while we're waiting for questions to come in, do you have anything else you would like to add? Like, do you want to, anything you'd like to talk about as far as experience-wise, during the launches? Anything that tickles your fancy?
Yeah, it's just been really nice to get the game out and get it into people's hands, and especially like people like yourself really helping us out and you know, playing the game in advance and just being able to chat with you guys, because this is all relatively new to me in terms of like Twitch and stuff like that, because so when we got started making games,
Man, the slave labor, come on.
what was it? Did you say Delver and Steradin?
Yeah, Steradin is like an old school, like Super Nintendo style side-scrolling shooter, but it's a roguelike. And it is like, there's certain games I really love, and side-scrolling shooters has been a favorite since I was a kid, but I like that old school, like 8-bit Nintendo, Super Nintendo, like that old style. I don't know if you're familiar with the Japanese games Proteus.
Yep.
It's like that style, but it's a roguelike, so, you know, you go through the game, if you die, you die, type thing. And you gotta start all over, and it's really well done, and it's just, like, I play a lot of roguelike games just because they're so fun.
Oh, cool. That explains your, why you're doing so well then.
Well, it's, you always have to remember in the back of your head that if you die, you are screwed.
Yeah.
So I will try to do my damnedest to not die.
Yeah.
Alright, did I get everything? I think I
Yeah.
did. Alright. I think
Very thorough.
I think I'm almost to the main hoopla here. Let me just see something.
Cool.
Backpack, yeah, we want that. Okay. Ship upgrades. Charts. Like recolor skins and things like that. I can't see any like massive changes being done. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh, he's beautiful. He's a pirouetting pirate. Is there trading cards in this game? Wait, why'd they run away? What the hell are you people doing? Oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. What? Wait. Oh, Christ. I'm so screwed.
Yes, there's trading cards.
Ah, okay. Oh my god. Alright, let me read this. Only question... Angel says, only question I had was, how far does he see procedural generation going into games? To what extent can it be developed? Does it have limitations? I'm thinking No Man's Sky as an example of how far it's come at the moment. Well, look at that. I wasn't even looking and I'm dodging. Woo!
No Man's Sky is like a pretty good example of how far you can push it. And I think the main thing is, you'll see it a lot in smaller developers, because the smaller games tend to focus on one or two interesting mechanics, and then procedural generation is a good way to create content to service those couple of mechanics, whereas people like Ubisoft and EA will probably be less inclined to use it, because it's just, you know, they don't really need it. They've got the manpower to be able to create really, really good, polished content, like really well good content. Yeah, exactly. So I think it's more of a benefit for smaller developers, and it is a risk as well. There is a certain degree of risk attached to it, which is why I think you'll see more indie developers using it than big studios. Like, I'm sure big studios. Oh no!
I died.
Oh.
Damn, I went for an hour and 2 minutes, though.
Yeah, that was good. That was a good.
Alright. That wasn't too bad. Enemies killed 110. Regions discovered 24.
Very thorough.
That wasn't too shabby. I don't think I did too bad. Anyway, continue.
Oh no, yeah, just saying that I think you will see a lot of procedural generation in the future. I think it will become a sort of almost like de facto.
And show you. I'm just gonna do this hipster gangster dude. So as you can see, this is the map. So the red triangle is what island I have selected right now. That's obviously, actually, you know what? You may not even be able to see that. Oh no, you can. So see how it says tutorial behind my head? Behind my big mug up there? So if we move over to the next one, you see it says easy. That one's hard. That's another easy one. Medium, hard. So there are all different islands dispersed of all different, different varying degrees of what, how hard it is and difficulty and things like that. Also, I believe there's different amount of treasures and different amounts of tablets on each of them, or is there always 3 tablets on each of them?
No, you're right. So for instance, on a harder island, there's less loot and crew and just generally good things for the player to find, and at the same time it's larger and it has less tablets, so you have to explore and encounter a lot more critters.
Gotcha. All right, so we're gonna do another one giveaway for Lost Sea in Twitch, so pay attention to that, guys. And we're gonna do another auction in Beam. Now, Beam, to keep the auction going, you guys have to continually bid. You only get 30 seconds in between each one, so if you're interested in it, make sure you get on that. So let me get that going. Yeah, Blue, you should have got a whisper with your key, because it allows me to set whispers for these. So that should be, if you didn't get it, just tell me and I will give it to you. And again,
2 days. So no one really knows how it works, but I think for us it was like a couple of weeks.
that's not bad at all, actually.
No, it was. We were a little bit worried about it because we're not used to having to go through Greenlight. Because in the past, we're just, we get in touch with Sony and Microsoft, and we're like, oh hey, we want to make a game, and they're like, okay, cool, no problem. But on PC, we had to go through the Greenlight process.
Gotcha. Now, Pneumonica, did you see that? Blue, I just sent you that. So I need to know if Pneumonica sees it, because if not, I'm gonna have to tell Pocket Pack about that. If you're wondering who Pocket Pack is, he's the developer of the bot that I'm using.
Oh, cool.
Pocket Pack. But really, I mean, it's you've not seen a Whisper. Okay. Let me get you that. And then the one in Twitch is still going, so if you're interested over there, or you want another chance, go get him, Tagger. There you go, Pneumonica. That should be yours. Okay. There we go. Bing, bang, boom. Alright, so that's...
Too, and they said, why can't you talk to the monsters?
Could you imagine that? It'd be like, gurgle, gurgle, I'm gonna eat your brains. It's like, alright, well,
Yeah,
this was a nice conversation.
Yeah, I don't think they're interested in talking.
Whoa, what is this? Holy schnitzel. Get out of here. Oh no!
Oh no!
Alright, let's see here. Who is... Demon Kitty! Congrats. Let me send this over to you. go. Alright, so just make sure you both receive those for me. Chat decided to die on me. Oh no.
Come back. Please calm down here. Not sure as it would affect the chat.
Oh, you're installing the game right now? Nice.
Oh, awesome. Thanks.
Do you think you may eventually add multiplayer as a reiteration to the game?
I don't know. It just really depends what people want. It's something that we thought about, and there's a lot of multiplayer causes. It prompts a lot of questions. You know, how do you handle upgrades if you've got multiple players, or the game becomes too easy because you've got twice as many heroes. So do we double the monsters? And there's a lot of sort of thought that needs to go into that. So it's not something that we wanted to do for launch, but who knows?
Yeah, maybe down the road it'll be an option. If I would think if there's a lot of people saying, hey, we want online multiplayer, if you had like a massive request for it, I'm sure you guys would most likely look into it.
It's like, it's quite common nowadays, at least with smaller scale games, for the game to launch without multiplayer and then they patch it in later, and it's just because all of the you've got all the changes to the game, which is a huge amount of work. Then you've got all the networking side of things as well, which is twice as much work again. And then in the case of consoles, you've got a whole load of technical requirements that you need to hit as well. So
I hope you guys make a lot of money, get a lot of good publicity and everything like that, and I hope everything works out for you, because I mean, it's really, really well done. And congratulations for successfully getting a game up on Steam, because that's something that not everybody can do either. There's a lot of games that don't even make it.
Yeah, shipping a game is really hard.
It is. It's a lot of work, and you're right, it is really hard. And it's not everybody understands what goes into it.
Yeah.
Do you have carpentry, little skinny naked skull dude? You have locksmithing, but no carpentry. How dare you? Who do you think you are? Guess I gotta go find someone else. But I'm gonna pause here. And I do want to thank you, Aiden, for joining us. Everybody, please go check out Lost Sea. If you did get a key, and you do play it, all that good stuff, please do leave some good feedback over on Steam. Make sure you click that recommend button. Leave them some feedback. I can't see anything in the game that would even warrant bad feedback. So, and, make sure you be nice, because take a quick break, and then when we come back, we're going to be possibly looking at something else. So don't go anywhere. Grab a snack. Grab a drink. I got to go get another drink. Don't go anywhere.